What's going on, everybody? So, I had a little bit of time today, so I figure I will show you guys my mixing template. So, this is it here. I opened it up. So, every time I have to mix a song for a client, I bring up this template and I start working. So, my template is actually modeled after Jason Joshua's template because he gave me his template for us to look at and use. And I just change things around to how I like it. So, as you can see here, I have a bunch of buses here for the beat, and I have a bunch of buses here for the vocals, and I have buses here for the effects. All right, so let's go through it one by one, and let me explain how I do things. So, first, when a client sends me a song, they send me I always ask for their demo mix, right? Their rough mix. So they give me their rough mix, and then they'll give me the instrumental, whether it's a 2 track or hopefully it stems. If they give me all of the track out files, then that's even better. So I'll get all the track out files and I'll get the session with their vocals. So that might be two different sessions, right? There's one uh, track out with just a bunch of wave files that I have to import into the session, and there's also their vocal session that I have to import into my session. Now, sometimes uh, I used to actually work in their sessions. Sometimes I'll import my template into their sessions or I'll import their vocals into here. It doesn't matter, however you want to do it. But once I get the stems in, I separate it to, I put the kick to kick bus, I route the drums to the drums, bass to bass, 808 to 808. It's really self explanatory. I call this melodies. It's just all the music, right? So if you have pianos, synths, whatever, all of that goes here. And then all of these groups here for the beat, they get sent to the instrumental here, instrumental bus. The instrumental now gets sent to an instrumental all. So why do I do that? Because in between here, I have these two parallel tracks. So I have parallel one and two. So what that's for is a lot of times when I put in drums, I actually like to have a send to parallel the drums, to send the drums to a different aux so that I can put a compressor on it or put a saturator on it or whatever the case is. A lot of times I put it up the middle and I'll EQ it so that I can get a little bit more punch and kind of keep it mono. So I have parallel one and parallel two to use how I please, how I'd like. And then all of that combined is sent to instrumental all. So this right here is the actual main aux track for my instrumental. And then I have the same thing with vocals. You see, I have Vox 1, Vox 2, Vox 1 beat. Should be just Vox 3. I don't know why I name it that. But, and then all of these vocal auxes are going to the Vox master. And again, I have a parallel right here. And then all of the Vox master is being sent to the Vox all. So all the vocals I hear under this all is vocal all aux. So when I mute it, all the vocals will be muted. And then I have all of my effects and my reverbs and delays after that. So I have my early reflection reverb, reverb 1, reverb 2, delay, delay 2, 3, slap, whatever. And I can always put more or less if I like. But all of these effects are going to the all EFX bus, and the all EFX bus is going to the mix bus. So all of the master buses I'll call the FX all, the Vox all, and the instrumental all. They're all being sent to the mix bus, which is my main master. So everything's being sent to this mix bus, which is my master channel. So I'm not using a typical master channel. I'm using a mix bus. It's the same thing. I'm using it in the same way. So that's my routing. And let's see what we have here. So on my instrumental, I have, I always use, I love these Orion plugins. I use Orion for the drum bus. And I can use it for actually the other ones too because I love Jason's plugin there. So I use Orion for my drums. I'll use a lot of Spectre, a lot of Black Box, um, especially the new Black Boxes. Not only this one, they have an EQ version as well, saturation. Um, I'll use R bass on the bass or Voice of God from UAD, and I'll level it how I'd like, and it all goes into here. I'm always, of course, watching my levels in the God particle on the mix bus. So before I start a mix, I always put this on the God particle. I personally take off the multiband. It holds it back for me, so I do that. I like to put it at about 92, and I kind of like to start there when I mix, and I start mixing immediately into my limiter, right? So I don't start mixing and then put in the limiter after. It's gonna change the way it sounds. So I put on the limiter first and then I start mixing, and I mix the beat. I follow the demo always. So when they send me their rough mix, I'm always following the demo first. And I need to make sure I respect the producer's wishes when it comes to how they want their beat to sound, and also the artist, because I'm a recording engineer as well. I understand how important it is for the artist to get the vibe, for the vibe to not change in the mix too far away from after they leave the studio, after they recorded it that night. So when an artist is there with a recording engineer and they're getting ready to leave with the song, they make the changes, they get the feel that they want from the recording engineer. And then if the mixing engineer is a different person, because you're not there in the room, it's your job to make sure that you don't change the vibe. Trust me, that has made me lose a lot of clients and money in the past, and I do not do that anymore. I know how people want it. They want it just like the rough, but better. And of course, you can feel free to, still add my creative touches to it. But you got to keep the energy. So, moving on. Um, for the vocals, I put, I have Spectre. So, Jason does this, and I like how he does this. It adds a little bit of weight. This adds some harmonics to the signal. I have a EQ. I have my RVox. I never not use the RVox. And then I'll use a multiband, CLA. I have a F6. I have this compressor as well. And I'll just jump through and use it how I use it or not use it. It depends on how it feels and how it sounds, right? And then I actually parallel the vocals here to a 1176, and I like to mess with the ratios. This is the Vox parallel that's like up the middle. I like to use that to make the vocals really come up front. And I have on my Vox All, I have a Pultec, and I have Spectre as well. And all my effects here, true verb for the early reflection reverb. I have this R verb I'm using for my reverb 1. Reverb 2, I have bypassed here the seventh heaven. I also have the capital chambers. I can also use Manny reverb, whatever reverb I'm feeling that day. You still use H delay, ping pong at 1/8. That's my favorite with the filters up, analog down. That's my go-to delay for even for when I'm tracking. And yeah, I have these other delays too that I just change according to what the vibe is, and I have also a slap delay just to make the vocal a little bit wider, right? And then again, all of that is running into here, this God particle here, and I'm just monitoring the levels. So that is my routing process. I have to spend another video showing you guys an actual mix on what that actually looks like. But I thought it would be helpful if I explain my routing first and my process first so you guys can get an idea. And then next time I'll go into actually showing you a session of what that looks like and what that sounds like and what difference the sound makes when I do it this way. All right? Thank you guys. See you later.